Greetings and salutations there, my friend. Why don't you make yourself comfortable by the fire as I tell you a story about how some quick thinking and a vegetable peeler saved a group of adventurers in a dangerous situation. How a drunken monk became a fraudulent war hero with a vegetable peeler. r/D&D stories posted by Malarkey the Scot. Was playing a session with some friends, all of us relative novices to D&D. In this campaign, I am playing a half-orc monk who has a penchant for the more psychedelic aspects of his monastery practices. Had some crazy rolls, resulting in 20 strength, 16 dex, and 17 con, but with intelligence, wisdom, and charisma all being in the low single digits. Extremely low. This story begins partway near the start of the campaign, and the party is aboard an arcane submarine of sorts, approaching a city that the party has never even heard of, and thanks to the antics of the party, they have no way of steering. While standing on top of the sub after it surfaces near the wall that encircles said city, the sub is hailed saying, "Prepare for interdiction!" And the NPCs that brought the party to the sub just decide to up and jump into the water after heavily disguising themselves and hinting that our flamboyant garb and behaviors would stick out like sore thumbs. Shortly thereafter, the party notices the sub is starting to go back underwater. My monk, who has established in the past he is not a strong swimmer, dives back into the sub and the party follows suit. After this, the hatch closes with a hiss and the party is now trapped in an arcane sub that they can't operate and is about to be boarded. Realizing the situation, we all decide to try to disguise ourselves, dressing in the uniforms we found aboard the sub in the previous session. And with a successful usage of a disguise kit and alter self, we all appear as humans with not but a moment to spare. The ship is boarded and we are all heavily outgunned here, so our bard tries to lie our way out of this. By the luck of the dice, which our DM had us roll when we randomly grabbed any uniform in the locker we found, our bard, who could con the devil himself into a timeshare, happened to grab a uniform of a rear admiral, and with this he had advantage on some rolls. The yarn our bard spun was that a stowaway had snuck on board and during the ensuing conflict had damaged the sub's controls and had absconded with almost all the crew. The DM had noted that the inspecting officer seemed dubious to our claims and it looked like we were quickly heading towards prison and the gallows. So, in a moment of desperation, I told the DM, while they're talking, I'm going to attempt to pull the vegetable peeler out and stab myself in the back a couple times without gaining anyone's attention. For context, in a previous session, I had grabbed a vegetable peeler from a counter during a big bar brawl turned life and death struggle and used it as a makeshift shiv, never bothering to put it back afterwards, and instead just slipping it into the waistband at the small of the monk's back. With a successful roll for sleight of hand and constitution to keep from crying out, our DM says, "Congratulations! You have successfully stabbed yourself in the back and now have a couple of gaping wounds in your back, hip, and ass cheek." With this, I have my monk step forward and declare that it was his fault that such a vile individual got aboard and that hopefully my wounds would remind me of my failures. My mindset going into this was that it would add legitimacy to the lie, but little did I know the storm that would ensue because of this. The officer's eyes go wide upon seeing your wounds, the DM said. My God, son, just look at you. Get this man to the hospital immediately. He then says the guards grab my character, and with a crack of sound and light, that my character was whisked away via teleportation magic. Fast forward a bit for the sake of brevity. This was a 5-hour session after all, and we come back to my character laying on his stomach in this hospital, split from the whole party. An officer comes in and asks how my character is doing. A little more talking with him, and I'm sweating bullets now. My monk has 0 people skills. Think Carrot Top with the personality of a baboon on PCP, and you'll start to get the idea of how adept my PC is at deceiving people. The DM suddenly says to my monk, well, we have to get you going now. We have a medal ceremony to get to. I ask why, and he responds, why, you're a celebrity. You're Meta Knight's first casualty in 93 years. Meta Knight being the empire wherein I come to later find out. So, after going back to the rest of the party, it is revealed to those individuals that my monk is to be presented with a medal in the city's main plaza, upon the stairs of the Capitol building, and that Meta Knight has been spoiling for a fight for years with another bordering kingdom. Further yada yada reveals that due to how advanced medical magics are and their war machines, Meta Knight had never really had anyone killed, let alone wounded, in a very long time. Upon figuring out my PC would be at the ceremony, they struck out to find their wayward drug-consuming moron. We come back to my PC standing at the entrance of the Capitol, surrounded by politicians and high-ranking military officers, with thousands of individuals gathered below to see the ceremony, and I am presented with a medal for valor in the face of extreme peril and adversity. As the party begins to make their way, still disguised, to the front of the crowd, I am told by the Admiral to, "Go ahead, Ensign, address the crowd." It is here that our DM ended the session, having completely derailed whatever he had planned plot-wise. This could very well result in a TPK situation, but at the same time, that was one of the best sessions we had with this campaign thus far. We were all laughing at points until tears streamed, and everyone commented that it was a blast. So in the end, I call it a success. Now that was some quick and creative thinking right there. I love it when a plan comes together. It's moments like this that really makes TTRPG games great. And that's our story. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more future content. Also, if you would kindly follow the socials posted in the description, that would be amazing. As always, be good, be great, be awesome.